We are back again, dear viewers, after we have another segment with our first guest, and we know it is the Organisation Régionale de la Francophonie, but also called International Organization of la Francophonie in English. It is an international organization representing countries and regions where French is a lingua franca or customary language, where a significant proportion of the population are Francophones, which is French speakers, or where there is a notable affiliation with the French cultural doctor.
Of course, the modern organization was created in 1970. The organization has since evolved into a global organization whose really numerous branches cooperative with its members states in the field of culture, science, economy, and justice, and also in peace. To know more about this beautiful really subject, let us welcome Her Excellency Ambassador of Kuwait, Anne-Claire Legendre. But first, before we meet Her Excellency, let us see and have a little peek about this report. Bonjour and bienvenue on SunShine programme.
Merci beaucoup, Dr. Salman.
De rien.
Merci, Sarah.
Merci.
De rien dire. I think, Your Excellency, Kuwait requested to join the International Organization for Francophonie. So could you talk really about this segment briefly?
Absolutely. It's a very good news first, and we are very happy that Kuwait decided to apply and join the organization. It's a very powerful organization. It gathers 88 countries in the world and more than 300 million speakers of the French language around the world in 5 continents, you know. It goes from Canada to Vietnam to Senegal. So it makes sense that Kuwait, you know, who has a very strong French language capacity and history would join the organization.
Your Excellency, what the basis behind it?
The basis behind the organization is to promote French cultures, because there are, you know, different Francophone cultures around the world. Of course, if you talk about the culture in France and in Senegal and in Canada and in Vietnam, those are different. But we are all allied to bear these cultures and the values that goes with it around the world. And of course, it creates a great alliance, you know, among different countries. And we all work together to promote values and democracy and peace in the world, which is exactly what the, you know, Kuwait diplomacy is actually doing.
Great, great.
Yes, Your Excellency, you just mentioned about the French language. Can you please provide us more information about related to the French language and learning French in Kuwait?
Absolutely. It's very important because, you know, Kuwait was actually the first country in the Gulf region to teach French to its students. It started in 1966, as early as this. And now in Kuwait, you have each year 30,000 students that are actually being taught French in public school, which is really important. So what we are doing at the moment with the Ministry of Education is to work in expanding the French education in public schools, because now students in high school are actually studying French, but we want them also to study French in intermediary school. And so this is the work we are doing at the moment. And of course, if Dr. Salman, you want to learn more French,
I will.
we welcome you at the French Institute. You know, we have a wonderful cultural institute in Jabriya, and we are still doing classes despite COVID, of course online. But this is very successful, and we have more and more pupils joining.
Merci beaucoup, my dear. And I think it is very important that French is a beautiful language, and it is French language of diplomacy, the language of romancy, the language of everything really. And I used to be spoken a little bit, you know, but, you know, after all this year, I have to go again and learn many topics about this beautiful language. That leads us to a question, Your Excellency, which is, you know, we know that France has a lot of big specified special universities for all different sectors of knowledge and education. So how the relation of Kuwait and France and this subject really of education, how many people or how many students, Kuwaiti students, really studying in the French universities?
So far it's 200 Kuwaiti students studying in French, you know, a year after another one. They mostly specialize in law and in medicine, because you know that the Kuwaiti law actually is very much inspired by the French law. But we have much more to offer to the Kuwaiti students. You mentioned that French is the language of love, but it's also, you might know, the language of engineering. We have the best mathematical schools in the world. You know, in terms of medal fields, which is the Nobel Prize of mathematics, France ranks second just after the United States.
That's true.
And in artificial intelligence, for instance, if you look at all the big guys in Facebook, Google, all of them are French. So I really want to encourage Kuwaiti students to join our engineering school, to join our business schools. And the language is not a barrier. That's a very clear message, because now most of our universities are training in English.
Exactly.
And so you can study in French in English and still enjoy a coffee in French if you want to. And it's very cheap because we have a great public system. And so it's, you know, if you join a public university in France, it's equivalent of 350 KD a year.
Wow.
So,
nothing.
you know,
I think, Sarah, you know, it is very beautiful when we start learning, you know, French language.
Yeah.
The most important thing is how to move your, you know, lips and say the vowels. And I think that was in the beginning is tough, but after, you know, you're getting and practicing, it's become very easy and so correlated with the English language.
Absolutely.
Most of the lettering here and there. So I think me and you, we have to go and learn a little French so we can talk in French.
exactly.
And also our director, you know, he just jumping in my ear and he said, I want also to learn French. So French, inshallah, you're going to have at least 3 students from this today.
And then we have SunShine in French, actually.
Yes.
So, Your Excellency, we know that we have a really tight relationship between France and Kuwait. Can you please tell us more about it?
I mean, it's an excellent relationship.
Exactly.
You know, it's a very long-standing friendship between our 2 countries. And actually, this year we are celebrating very important anniversaries for both our countries. 60 years anniversary of the foundation and the independence of Kuwait, but also of our friendship, because we recognized Kuwait right away. And it's also 30 years anniversary of the liberation. And you know that, you know, 17,000 French troops actually participated in the liberation of Kuwait. Yeah. So based on this, we really want to give a new impetus to our relationship, and that's why we decided to upgrade our strategic dialogue, which is a very important political dialogue with all the ministries sitting all together, to a ministerial level, and we will hold it in June for the very first time at this level. And I expect a flow of high-level visits, and also, you know, on both sides, and great cultural programmation also all along this anniversary year.
Your Excellency, also we you know, going into another segment of this partial, you know, subject, what this my colleague Sarah asked you. Today you are living in this, you know, catastrophe of this pandemic, you know, situation, not just in Kuwait or in France, all around the world. So what is the situation in France regarding this thing? How could you, you know, really, you know, fought this vicious, really, COVID-19? I think it was a big, you know, thing to do it, isn't it? So what do you say about it? Where do you reach now?
Absolutely, Dr. Salman. We're still fighting it. You know that France is actually facing a 3rd wave, like most of the European countries.
Exactly.
So we're in this, the middle of this battle. And I think the message you convey to the Kuwaiti people at the start of this show is absolutely critical. Yes. We need people to get vaccinated.
Exactly.
And that's what we're doing at the moment in France, you know, really pushing and accelerating the pace of vaccination. And so we expect 10 million French people to be vaccinated mid-April, and the whole French population to be vaccinated by the end of summer. So this is really the biggest priority for the French government at this time. The second priority was to support the economy, because we all know that, you know, the economy is suffering. And so we put together a very ambitious recovery plan, and with the support of the European Union, to actually support our companies so that they can restart very quickly, to support the people so that they don't lose their job, and finally to build a really ambitious investment plan for the future in order to, you know, build a green transition, etc.
I think also, Your Excellency, it is complicated equations. How to protect yourself by doing the vaccination and how to protect the economy.
Absolutely.
And I think this equation is really tough. So that needs from you and the government is cooperation between the government and the people in France to do this. Like like I said in our message in the morning today in the episode, try to be one big family for us and for the families and for the society. So
Yes.
I think you are doing a really great job in France and among the other countries also.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I think your message is really the message we need to convey to the people. I mean, it's a collective responsibility. You know,
Exactly.
the government is doing its part. We are supporting the economy. We are, providing for the vaccines, etc. But of course, we need for people to comply
Understand
with
and
the
cooperate.
regulation, because otherwise the virus continues spreading.
Exactly.
Yes, Your Excellency, we'd like to know also how has France, implemented international for the COVID-19 disease with the, with the World Health Organization?
Yeah, thank you for asking this very important question, Sarah, because it's really one of the priorities of French President Emmanuel Macron.
Yes.
Because just as Kuwait, we are a wealthy country, we can pay for the vaccines, but it's not the case for a lot of emerging economies around the world. So we need actually to have a big solidarity moment around vaccination and to help less privileged countries to actually get access to the vaccines and to the treatment. And that's why last year Emmanuel Macron launched an initiative called COVAX Act Accelerator in April, and it was with the World Health Organization, the UN and the EU, to actually give universal access to all countries around the world to the vaccine and the treatment. And we are still fighting this fight, and so far most of the vaccines went to the wealthy country, but we really hope that we will have this moment of solidarity to support the less privileged country in this
well, Your Excellency, this is a message also from us here, from you and from me, from Sarah, from the people really of Kuwait, that we have to get together, we have to help each other. It is the world. Every nation, sometimes God gave us some wealth and part of the world, and some people they don't have the money to buy this vaccination. So we have to assist and help each other, getting one family, the world family. This is very important, and this is a message from me and from the people here in SunShine program. We hope that with this interview with Her Excellency Anne-Claire Legendre, the Ambassador of France in Kuwait, we welcome you and we thank you for accepting our invitation today to be our guest. And I think you did a great job as a diplomatic and at the same time as a friend for SunShine program. So thank you very much, my dear. And we will see you, inshallah, in other episode very soon.
Thank you so much for having me on SunShine. It's been really a pleasure, Dr. Salman, Sarah. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Merci,
Thank you so
merci
much.
beaucoup.
Merci à vous.
And I think, Sarah, it is very beautiful to have such a nice ambassador like Anne in our big show. Merci.
Exactly.
Merci beaucoup.
We had with us Her Excellency Miss Anne-Claire Legendre. And now, Doctor, we
Yes.
have a report about last Wednesday. You did something.
What?
You had a vaccine, your second dosage, isn't it?
How did you know that?
Well, we have our sources.
Oh, okay. If you do have our resources, then what shall I say? Except, let us watch and let us see what we, did last week.
Yes, exactly. Let's see, dear viewers, me and you. What did Dr. Salman last week? And then we'll come back again.